So, good morning, everybody. So, welcome back to the final session of our 5-day faculty development program on sustainable design with pre-engineered techniques. On the outset, I'd like to thank all the participants for having stayed back and having patiently listened to all the lectures. Uh, I'd like to thank our speaker for the session, Apramaya sir, for once again gracing the occasion and sharing his knowledge, in depth professional knowledge with us. Today's talk would be on prefabrication materials, prefabrication material reclamation for faster construction. Sir, the session I'll hand over to you. You can start the session now, sir. One before 1 minute, sir. I'll just 1 minute. I'll just give you the rights. Uh, 1 minute. Yes, sir. I have passed over the presenter privileges to you. I think you should be able to share your screen now, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Sir, you're on mute.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, screen is visible.
Is it?
Yeah, it is visible. Could you go to
Yeah.
the presenter options, please? Please move the slides, sir. Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. It's good to go. Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Yeah. Very good morning. Very good morning to everyone. Um, Today's session, just briefed it on this slide. Thank you for the privilege given to me to speak out today. Today's session, I would be probably covering certain gists from prefabricated buildings or pre-engineered buildings, covering basics of steel pre-engineered buildings, and something on trendy eco panels today. If time permits, I will also, present certain slides from um, sustainable building options, wherein our locally available materials used and then prefabricated components from those materials, how can it be used into normal buildings? We will look into it. So to start with, we will have, since there is a time constraint, I may not be able to deeply peep into pre-engineered buildings, its design aspects and all those things. But to the extent possible, I will try to justify whatever is possible. Basics of steel pre-engineered buildings. I would be restricting myself and to its certain basics and its nomenclature. We will look into the numbers as well. What is the advantages that it can bring into the construction industry, so on. Pre-engineered buildings, it is abbreviated as PEB. It is they use a predetermined inventory of raw materials that has proven over time to satisfy a wide range of structural and aesthetic design requirements. Like pre-engineered steel building, it's a building shell utilizing three distinct product categories. Three distinct product categories in the sense, usually it is a built-up section, an I-shaped primary structural framing member, columns and rafters it is. Cold formed Z-shaped or C-shaped secondary structural members. Roof purlins, eave struts, wall girds. Wall girds are cladding runners. So these things are made from cold formed sections. You can see the shapes like um, this and these are rafters and columns. These are secondary members, cold forms Z and C sections. Rolled form profile sheeting is also one more component here in BEB, which is used for roof and wall panels. Usually, when we use tapered built-up primary structural members, in the sense, when we look into the bending moment profile of a frame, these sections will match the strength requirement. These sections will be fabricated to match the section requirement based on the stresses coming into in which the building experiences which is expected, like which are the structural members expected to resist. So the profile is matched to that, and if we do that, most roughly it will give us an advantage of weight advantage of 40%, means when compared to our conventional hot rolled sections. These pre-engineered buildings are made by using steel plates. These are all built up sections. These PEBs can facilitate wider clear span capabilities for major frames. Longer economic balance is possible. Lower weight of overall PEB steel structure, that is the tonnage of the material consumed per unit area of the building construction. The weight advantage in main grid frames when compared to those of hot rolled sections is a very pronounced advantage. The use of cold form sections, Z-shaped and C-shaped, for roof purlins or wall girds particularly, they can also give us around 30% of weight saving as compared to our normal hot rolled building components. If hot rolled sections are used. So PEBs, that is cold form sections for the secondary structural members, can give us 30% weight save. Usually manufacturing scrap from production processes of built-up plate members, cold form sections, Z sections is typically 75% less than scrap cost generated by our normal hot rolled members. These are all a very, very pronounceable advantage with PEB. Now, architectural flexibility, yes, it is possible. We can give curved fascias. You can see here, bottom right image. We can add a lot of features. Architectural features can be accommodated. There is flexibility for that. Trims in the sense, these are all corner flashings, end flashings, roof to wall flashing. It is called as a trim, corner, gable end flashing, raker trims, all those things. These are all the terminologies which you will see in further slides. But all these things, since it can be customized to suit the site, it will be of a great advantage in PEB construction. Colors, yes, we can choose mix and match colors to really produce aesthetic statement. Where all it can answer, where all can this PE be used? The slide shows that like industrial structures, various industrial structures like production yards, workshops, warehouses, cold storage systems, car parking sheds, slaughterhouses, bulk product storage, commercial. It can be distribution centers, showrooms, supermarkets, offices, labor camps, so on. Recreational structures, gymnasiums, swimming pool enclosures, indoor tennis courts. This can be, the list is really long. Aviation, military, aviation and military. If we talk about aircraft hangar, where aircraft hangar structures, where it demands large clear spans up to around 128 meters. It is possible with PB. Agricultural structures. It could be poultry farms, dairy, greenhouses, yes, grain storages, animal confinement structures. All these things are possible. PEBs can answer them. Their basic advantage is it can accommodate large clear spans. Now, there are a lot of configurations of PEB. Usually, what you can see here, multi-gable building with 4 gables each. It is right now. It is just shown as 4 spans. It can be multiple. It can go in any. It can be in n number of bays. It can go along, but the only issue will be the maintenance here. This type of buildings configurations, usually what happens is annual maintenance is, the maintenance here is very tricky, like grit and any deposits in the gutter, in the eaves. There are too many number of eaves, so in the intermediate eaves, any blockages, any is there any, if there is any uh, any blockage, taking, hauling away any rainwater would be a challenge. Taking away, draining away drainage from rooftop would be a challenge. Monoslope roofs, you can see the gable roof here, multiple gable roof, one snapshot here. Monoslope, just, the frame what is shown here above, the photo need not match, but it is just an indicator as to how will it look, how beautiful it looks. A monoslope roof, multi-gable roof, as I said, there is certain rainwater conveyance issues in the intermediate gutters. Yes, all those things would be a problem, would be a challenge here. It has to be specially taken care. If these multiple gable frames are resorted to, then we need to look into frequent maintenance of intermediate gutters. In PBs, bracings are very, very important. Bracing system, we will talk about it in further slides. These are all the general components of a pre-engineered building. The sketch, what is projected here on the screen, there it indicates wall panels, supported on the girts, GIRTS, girts or wall or cladding runners. We have roof purlins with sag rods. Sometimes it is also provided with bridges, but it is called purlin bridges or even sag arresters. It is not written here, but all those are the nomenclatures, terminologies which we have to pick up. Roof purlins are there. Eave struts, rafters, columns, bracings. What the corner trims, whatever this one, whatever you're looking at, this color, the edges, the corners, whatever you're looking at, these are all called as flashings or trims. So this is given to prevent any sort of leakages, and it adds to the beauty as well. Cladding runners usually run through and through on the exterior of the columns to receive the wall panels. Sag rods, whatever is written here as D, C, and all those, these, wherever these rods which are connecting purlins, this is provided, these are all tension members, sag rods are tension members, but they help in reducing the lateral, uh, the effective length of the purlins along its minor axis. The sag rods will help to cut down these minor axis span about the minor axis for purlins. These are all the bracing systems. Bracing system, again, design of bracing system, it can be cable bracing or rod bracing, or it can be from our structural members like angles, channels, all those things are used for bracing system. It depends on the forces, what is encountered in the analysis. It can be tube as well, pipes, tubes, all those things can be used for bracing systems. If we talk about how it is bracing system, diagonally put bracing system, how it is fastened, how its connection is seen, you can see detail C. Detail C gives you the central connection detail. It will have a connecting plate. One of the bracing member will be continuous, the other will be connected like this. Angle brace with high strength bolts. This will take care of, bracing system will take care of lateral sway of the building. When we talk about the various references which helps in PEP's design is the present code IS 800-2007. All members for strength and serviceability is designed with IS 800-2007. Code form sections, IS 801. Density of materials are as per IS 875 part 1. Any new material used, these can be tested and those results can be used in our designs. Any new discoveries, innovations, the dead weight can be arrived at as accordingly. Wind loads, live loads, snow loads are all as per relevant IS 875 parts. See, some more is like, there are building codes which we have to use along with these design codes, design provisions. Building codes in the sense, National Building Code, or it can be Universal Building Code, UBC. It can be used. It will give us a lot of relevant parameters which has to be used while designing PEB. Some certain nomenclatures which is good to know about PEB. Bent plate, a plate bent to form an angle, that is very well known. Whenever there are certain uh, apart from 90-degree, any angular construction apart from 90 degrees right angle, the the plates are forged to form that angle, and it is used. So it is just a terminology used there. Bill of materials or bill of quantities, BOQ, that is very much necessary for once the configuration structural design is in place, all the geometry is fixed, we can arrive at various quantities involved in construction to cost it. So bill of quantities will come into play. Bird screen, bill of quantities is nothing related to design. It is a more bill of quantities is more on governance of the project related to various quantities involved in construction. If we look into the building components, bird screen or bird mesh it is called. It's a wire mesh which is fixed over the top of the wall panels under the roof, any gap, just to prevent any bird to enter into the occupancy area. Blind rivet, it is you can see that you can see one of the photos here, one of the snapshots here, that is meant to fix uh, flashings, gutters, and so on. It is also called as a pop rivet. Brace grip, uh, you can see one snapshot here. Brace grip is nothing but it is the steel strand formed into a helical hairpin, which is wrapped tightly so that the bracing when it is connected is secured. Brace rods, uh, no, it's when brace rods in the sense bracing instead of cable rods, MS rods are used in play to brace the bracing in the sense it will be plan bracing or elevation bracing. Both are possible with brace rods or cables. Rods or cables is placed diagonally in the roof or walls for the purpose of transferring wind loads, and also it induces stability. Braced bay is the bay where the bracing is given. Bracket, it is an extended component. It's of a rafter or an intermediate attachment to a column which transfers any loads like crane runway loads or something like that. Crane run beams rather. So cable catch assembly is something like finally cables are terminated into column somewhere and it is fastened and hooked within the column. It is, you can see the snapshot here, cable catch assembly. It is also used whenever there are certain ridge ventilators. To open and close ridge ventilators, it is used. Building width, it is the lateral width of the building measured out of the side walls. Side wall steel lines means exactly column to column measurement. Built up section, all of us know it is section which is not available in the market but prepared, made to suit the design requirements using flat plates. They are fastened together, welded together. Butt plate is again a splicing means. It is also called as an end plate. Cap plate if it is used over columns. Sometimes cap plate is also used at the end of pipe structures as well. Girt or cladding runners. they are given to fix. They will facilitate to reduce unsupported length of vertical members, and as well it will help fixing the wall sheeting. Building codes, as I said, these are all regulations developed by recognized agencies establishing, like, building codes, in the sense we have got UBC, NBC, all those things are there. Apart, there will be certain standardization from some organizations, some local codes, some preferences, specifications, or design criteria will be adopted, customized to suit certain requirements. It can be strategic requirements. If you go to any organizations like SAIL, steel plants, they will have their own uh, uh, customization to be followed for design. So sometimes those things will overrule whatever is given in UBC. Usually they will be certainly conservative than what is prescribed in UBC or NBC. It is a good to have uh, guidelines from those individual organizations to uh, as a guideline given to a consultant for executing the designs. Cold form sections in the form of C or Z, it is formed by it is formed by cold roll from coils. It is cold rolled from coils. Cables can be used. Cables, in the sense, the same strands which we use for post-tensioning system, the same strands can be used. Those cables can be used for cable bracing system. They are all high tension wires. Um, it can be used for bracing. Likely, if we, inaccessible, roof ventilators where it has to be operated, roof vent dampers or something like that, which needs temporary bracing. Even there, relevant cables can be used. Cantilever, all of us know, it is a projecting beam that is supported and restrained at one end only. Canopy is also a very familiar name in our industry. Cap plate, we all know, it is the plate which is provided at any one end of the member. They are also referred to as an end plate. Catwalk is it is a maintenance platform. It is provided to access the mechanical equipments. Usually it is associated, it is given along with the crane. It is a crane corridor. It is adjacent, it runs parallel to the crane girder. Caulking is another terminology used for application of sealant in pre-engineered building, like underneath the flashing, um, in any overlaps, so on. Hot rolled sections, all of us know, it is available in the form of H, ISMB, IS, HB, so on. So this is familiar. Hot rolled sections are familiar to us. Checkered plate, that is also very familiar. It can be used for flooring systems. Usually in other world, checkered plate, apart from checkered plate, for any sort of service uh, structures like DG or chiller plants, which is kept over roof. Usually gratings are used. Apart from checkered plate is it will not drain off any surface water, any rainwater, but grating can drain it away easily. Maintenance will be very much easy. It is sturdy. uh, it can be designed grating floors, MS grating, or it can be there are heavy duty grating system, flooring system available. It is prefabricated as well, but it can be manufactured at site as well to suit the requirement based on the equipment's necessity. All those things are followed. Clear height of the building is up to the knee from the occupied floor. Clear span is between knee to knee. You can make it out. It is not. It is the minimum clear distance available. Clear span. Uh, this just like what we use skirting in our. We use a terminology called skirting in our normal buildings. Closure strip or a foam closure also serves a similar purpose. It is just to prevent any uh, water, water created dampness. Clips are again, it's a fastening medium where the members are fastened to vertical or horizontal members. You can see the snapshot. It's just an indicator. Clips in the sense it is not only for fastening, it is also sometimes there are these clips are also called as masonry clips, which will help in maintaining continuity, like preventing cracks and also integrating the masonry structure with the steel columns. Ridge vents means these are all the ventilator systems given over the ridge, which runs uh, which runs continuous over the ridge. Uh, there are some terminologies which is already defined in our code of practice, like collateral loads and all those things. It's a part of the design, like mechanical systems or electrical systems, any ceiling fixtures, sprinklers. All those things are classed under collateral loads. Apart from our normal assessment of what would be the most probable worst forces that a structure can experience, collateral load is also listed in our new code of practice. This collateral load is used. This terminology is used in our IS 800 2007. Again, that code runs in the footsteps of Eurocode. So this is what it is. A vertical structural member is a column, all of us know. Concrete notch, again, these notches, notches can be in the form of nibs, or it can be a recess in the slab. Usually this is given in the mezzanine floors or whenever there is an extension anticipated in a floor system. Continuous beams, all of us know, beam which is supported over multiple supports. Continuous ridge vent, it is a ventilator system given to run through and through over the ridge, facilitate ventilation. Corner column, usually it is designed as a pronounced beam column. Means it will have wind forces also and also axial forces. So it bends in both directions. It's a statement like a corner column must and should be designed as a beam column. Counter flashing, these things are, whenever we have buildings with dissimilar heights, a wall connecting to a roof sheeting of the building which is at a lower level, there whatever flashing or the trim, which will help to seal down, which will help to prevent any sort of leakages into prevent any sort of leakages possible. So counter flashing is given there. Crane, all of us know, it's a it's a machine which is designed to lift or move material. this seam, it is very much evident everywhere. Crane bracket, it is a bracket which supports the crane assembly. Crane bridge, it can be, it's just one or two girders or box sections. It can be a gantry also, supported on end carriages. Hangar doors, as I said, hangars need large clear spans to the order of around 128 meters, 135 meters roughly. Uh, I think 5 years back we had designed a hangar uh, structure with a span of 135 meters. Uh, it was for a military. It was for a strategic important place. It is called as 2M1M. Um, it was a very challenging structure. Nice to see those kind of challenges. Insulation, again, it can be in the form of EPDM, rubber. It can be a rubber system. It can be as small as 10 mm. It can be with glass wool. Uh, this is just to bring down the heat load into the structure. Splices, or again, it can be a column splice, beam splice, wherever the sections change drastically. This will also help ease the fabrication at site. So minimum is better, but it is optimized rather to suit the site requirements as well. A recent past, using prefabrication structure, uh, one machinery support system was done. It was expected to be completed. Entire structure was supposed to be completed in a week's time. It was achieved a week ahead of it. So this is the advantage of PEB. Like if planned aptly, buildings can really be put to commission much faster than anticipated. Pilot door, it is nothing but a wicket door as we use in our normal terms as wicket gate, similar one. Usually, when we talk about large span pre-engineered buildings like aircraft hangars, there even the doors are pre-engineered structures. Even the doors are pre-engineered structures in the sense it is called as sliding foldable doors. SFD. Even that is designed for any possible worst load it can experience. Pilot door is shown here in one of the snapshots just as an indicator. The sliding door, it can fold and slide. Roof curbs, again, usually when there is scarcity of place area, whenever there is a sparsity of space available uh, for the equipments like HVAC and heat ventilation and air conditioning, whenever there is a sparsity of space, usually these kind of uh, uh, equipments are kept on over roof, lofted. How to sometimes these equipments will demand usually pre-engineered buildings might have got a monoslope or a gable type or a double slope, like generally we have it will have it's a ridged roof, or it's a monoslope roof. So in either of these cases, when equipments demand that it has to be kept horizontal, kept level, so there these roof curbs will come into play. It has to be flashed properly, like all round it has to be given with corner and edge trims to prevent any sort of leakages into the occupancy area. So pre-engineered buildings um, is one like precast pre-engineered buildings, steel buildings is also an answer to most of the commercial facilities on demand, because earlier to market and early the revenue to the organizations. So always time, whenever time is the constraint, when time is money, pre-engineered buildings for commercial spaces are always an answer. Today there are some more like bunker cabins are also available, which completely all facility, all fixed, uh, all fixed facilities are available, completely commissionable facilities. Like whenever you want like labor camps or site offices or something like dormitories or something like that. So the steel bunkers can be used, which will have every electrical, all services pre pre-assembled. Everything is fixed and commissioned. It is just towed to site. It is just towed to site and connected to the services, to the appurtenances necessary. So that also comes under prefabricated and pre-engineered system. This is a small introduction about pre-engineered buildings. We can talk about this for hours together, but looking into various topics which is expected to be covered today, I'm just limiting myself to this one for with PEB. I will go to further slides, which is one more very inviting technology, pre-engineered construction with eco wall system. It is called as concrete wall, not concrete wall. It is called as concrete wall system. It is a sandwich panel yet again. It will have usually these panels are composed of uh, self-extinguishing polystyrene sheets assembled together, and it will also have a welded wire mesh. Welded means fusion welded wire mesh, which is just as small as 2.5 mm to 3 mm, which is closely spaced, with of course external structural shields like structural plaster, which will go up to around 35 mm. It is seen to perform very good. It can be used, these kind of panels, single panels or double panels, it can be used as a vertical uh, structural component for walls, horizontal structural members like flooring systems, and also it can be used for cladding systems, internal partition walls, or it can also suit, it can be customized to even help certain internal furnitures as well. It can be customized to manufacture some furnitures like conference tables and dining tables and so on. Raw materials for this, again, steel. It is zinc coated steel, wire mesh it is called as. The mechanical property, you can see just 2.5 mm dia. It's a high tensile mesh used, which has got around 700 Newton per millimeter square tensile strength. Yield strength is around 600 Newton per millimeter square. And 3 mm dia, only these two are used now, like 3 mm diameter. Tensile strength is, yield strength is around 680. Tensile strength is 750. It looks good. Elongation is more than 8%. Expanded polystyrene, it is self-extinguishing. It is self-extinguishing. Um, it is compliant to it is compliant to most of the international stipulated stipulated values. It is as per this material is suitable. And for any building construction, usually it is said that density of the material should not be less than 15 kg per cubic meter. This also satisfies that criteria. Uh, it is also compliant with Euro Code of Practice and testing standards. Where are these panels used? It is used as a load bearing wall system. It is used for load bearing walls, high capacity load bearing walls. Usually when we talk about high capacity load bearing structural walling system, it will be usually multiple panels. Non load bearing wall panels, partition walls, a single panel is sufficient. Single panel can range from 100 to 200 Non-load bearing wall panels, infill, it can be used as an infill in multi-story buildings because its self-weight is very, very minimum. One person can lift it up. One panel can be lifted by a person, single person. A floor roof slab, as it can be used as a floor, as a roof slab, as a cladding or as a cladding for industrial buildings. Cladding in the sense external cladding. Uh, you can see an indicator here. One, like EPS sheet width is 1200 It is these sizes are fixed just to help, just to help and prevent any complication in transportation. It can be clipped and continued. Splicing these panels are not a challenge. It can be spliced. EPS sheet width is around 1200 Density is 10 to 15 kg. Structural plaster over either these. You can see wires, which is made into a mesh. This is expected to behave like a micro column. Steel wires along with plaster, along with structural plaster, it is called structural grade plaster. It is at least more than M25. Compressive strength of that structural plaster should be more than or equal to, at least it should be M25. So with M25 and these wires together, with the recessions in the in the extended polystyrene membrane, it will create lot of vertical columns and horizontal ribs. This will add to a lot of stiffness and strength is derived, and it is called as microcolumns. So thickness of plaster is around 35 35 to 40 Um, when we use front and rear side mesh, it is integrated by something called as a connector. Actually, this technology originated from Bangladesh. Then China took it. Now worldwide, these panels are manufactured, but certain configurations like internal connectors, like connectors between the front and rear side mesh, vertical mesh. These meshes, which is used on front and rear, these connectors shapes are different from country to country. It can be customized, but it is totally dependent on the structural requirement. What is the resistance anticipated? You can see these are all the real-time photo snapshots from the factory. We have steel wires, which is matching. There is a small extension of the wire mesh, which will facilitate overlap of and splicing of the next panel coming and getting attached to this. These ribs here, along with the wire, will form a micro concrete. Apart from this wire, there will be a 35 thick structural plaster. Along with this recession and 35 thick plaster, this particular zone will behave like a micro column. There are structural concrete, structural plaster. It can be Usually it is more than M25. It can be M15 can also be used. It is not RCK less than 50. It is not less than 15. It is more than or equal to 15. It's a typographic error. The structural plaster can be as small as 25 mm thick as well. That means if we can modulate the thickness of EPS along with external plaster, the thickness it can answer many many questions, many requirements, right? Requirements like if it is a partition wall, um, a minimum of 100 mm wall thickness is what is anticipated. 100 mm thick wall can be achieved with just mere of 25 mm plaster, where structural performance is not very much, very much required. It can have just 2.5 mm wires, and later on it is plastered. How is plastering done? External structural plasters, it is done at site. These panels are with EPS and this fabric reinforcement. It is fixed. It is all prepared in the factory. It is brought to site, and later on this structural plastering is done using gunneting or shotcreting with structural grade mortar. So again, it is the same narrative, but with a different thickness of structural plaster. The various possibilities are there. Floor, it is for floor. It can be used for floors and roofs. This is ribbed panel is meant for floor systems. Ribs here, this sandwich panel cannot totally, flooring system cannot totally obviate the use of our normal reinforcing steel, but it will be minimized. Majority of the stiffness requirement is satisfied by the structural plaster along with the wire mesh, high strength wire mesh. It is minimized. It is just our reinforcement, our normal HYSD reinforcement is used as a coupling medium or a connecting medium, or it is meant for splicing. That's all, and its requirement is very much minimized. Uh, this is under research. The use of these kind of panels to answer the requirements as a shear wall in a building, it is in research now. This research is undertaken by IIT Roorkee. It is still in process. There is a lot of scope that this there is a lot of hope that this can answer many questions. It is lightweight. It can really bring down the self weight when single panels are used. When usually shear walls, when double panels are used, it is you can see the connectors as well. The front panel and the rear side panel is connected by same wire 3 mm. If 3 mm wire is used for the main wire mesh, the same 3 mm wire is used to interconnect. uh, it'll more or less behave like a space frame. So this gap between, the gap between these two panels are concreted, is poured to have a very solid and a rigid uh, wall structure, which can be used for larger stories, higher number of stories. The same configuration is now tried over. Can it suit the shear wall requirements? Now, this is whatever we have seen is about the wire mesh contributing along with the structural plaster. This is something related to its structural performance. When we come to the other fixtures which is involved in this eco panel is the reinforcement meshes. They are used to reinforce opening corners so that uh, to ensure continuity of the structural mesh. Yes, and it may also all these meshes are used to prevent any such stress concentrations, any diagonal cracks, so on. So this will improve the performance of the floor panels. uh, I will show further slides as to where it is used. You can see the U meshes used in jams and reveals, doors, jams and reveals. Flat mesh is used when there is a splicing of two different wall panels. Corner mesh, it is used for roof or wall joints or wall and wall joints or wall and floor joints. It is used. Lot of laboratory testings from the other world. See, these all these tests are done to see whether these materials are compliant with various codes of practice. Yes, it has stood this material has stood tall to answer many of these compliance issues, many of these compliances. It is fire resistant. A 100 wall panel is 1 hour fire resistant. 150 wall panel is 2 hours fire resistant. It is being tested. Like Giordano Institute Italy, they have it is their report results. Single panel core wall, concrete wall. PCS is the name given to the panel. It is just 80 thick. Uh, its thermal transmittance is only 0.557. Whereas if we look into our conventional materials, brick is 0.85 and concrete is 1.5. We can see there is an advantage in thermal insulation as well. Acoustics in industrial areas, the permissible limit is 75 decibels. Day and night, there are in commercial areas it is 65 dB and 55 dB, while in residential areas it is 55 and 45 dB during daytime and nighttime respectively. But you can see the numbers here, which is really pleasing, like single wall concrete wall panels, 80 thick, with traditional plaster. Because of this is an advantage induced because of EPS. 37 decibels and both 37 decibels, acoustic plaster or traditional plaster. These eco panels can offer 37 decibels of acoustic. No, it allows that much of decibels. It is an advantage. So impact, it can take 80 core. 80 core can take 50 kg, which can with impacts 50 kg with impacts of 1000 up to 900 and 1200 joules and no cracks. It's again an advantage. Water penetration test, 3 hours, no water penetration seen. Now trials are there to test it for a 24-hour water ponding, and it is hopeful like it will answer it, there will be no leakages. Missile test again, it was tested for worst possible missile impacts, and also hurricane. Hurricane, it picks up a lot of trees. Once during the recede, when it recedes, when hurricane recedes, what happens? it can plunge any sort of broken trees or even metal units. It can plunge into wall systems. So any hurricane 55 kilometer per hour, uh, you know it's something like this. It is tested for that. It can take off. It can take care of hurricanes up to 177 kilometer per hour and up to around 355 kilometer per hour. It is rated like it can safely take 150 kilometer per hour of hurricane, and it is also tested for impacts. It is safe. It is found safe. It can, for our normal usage, it is very, very beneficial. There are a lot of buildings tried in Bangalore, uh, in Mangalore district, in Coorg district. There are buildings which is built using this technology. One in Biddi, it's happening. Um, it is a lot of tests on the structural plaster as well. All these are found to satisfy, including its strength, its performance, its bonding, and so on. Since this wire mesh is closely knit, fusion welded, the structural plaster is not will not is so rigid it cannot yield away easily. Um, it is all electro welded mesh, as I said. Even pull out tests are made, and that is found to satisfy a lot of numbers. There is a small error in this table. It is not millimeter per 3 millimeter. It is millimeter per centimeter. Sorry, it is just millimeter, not 3 millimeter per centimeter. It is just millimeter, 32.4 millimeter. It's the gauge length tested. Yeah. Lot of tests, bending tests of off plane bending, in plane bending is it has got huge stiffness, but off plane bending is tested, which will help to evaluate the floor systems. This is what is the test for. It is tested for 3.3 meters, 4.3 meters, with various thickness. Higher thickness for higher panels. It is designed and used, and this is expected to answer most of our routine loading patterns. It is pattern loading is also accommodated. It is a 10-year-old technology to the world. 6 tests were carried out in the following panels, and again, bending test, as I said, a lot of engineering parameters are derived. It is all found to answer. It is all found to fall in place. It is all compliant. Bending test on floor panels. Again, compression test. Again, crushing load. What crushing load it can take. So diagonal compression and diagonal tension, all these, when we use it as an infill, when you integrate it with the structural frames, this can be used as a uh, framing system as well for normal buildings and as an infill to a multi-story building as a facade or an infill. When you use that, it will be integrated with the frame. If it is integrated with the frame, then subjected to lateral forces, it will be subjected to diagonal compression and tension. So how will it perform under these situations? Even that is tested. Diagonal compression test results. Tests on wall and floor joints, like one test on joint where floor panel uh, upper face was tight. It means only it so happens like these wall panels may not always sit on the bearing surface. It will be just connected on the surface. So when it is connected to the surface with only when it is connected only with the inner surface, inner layer of the wire mesh. Uh, and what happens if it is connected to both the uh, wire meshes, which is front and on the rear side? Those joint 1 and joint 2, that is only just surface connection and also complete bearing connection. These two are tested, and even this material has passed those tests as well. We are already trying this product, this material, construction material, in two of our sites, where the soil is as poor as it can only offer 2 tons per square meter SBC. We are improving the ground bearing capacities by using stone column. Over that as base wrapped, and on that we are planning to have these wall panels. And the overall self weight of the structure is expected to bring down drastically to the half at least, maintaining the stiffness. Static test on floor built with wall panels. When floor along with walls, how does it perform together? 2000 kg per square meters. Here, no, only the aspect ratio is missing, which I will get it later. But it is tested for normal spans, various aspect ratios in step values, and finally it is reduced. Like normally, it can take up to around 2000 kg per square meter. A 200 thick wall panel can take up to 2000 kg per square meter force, distributed force. These are all designed to suit based on the floor occupancy. Again, test results, lot of test results, which is now lot of projects which is happening now. Housing projects, multiple housing projects, cost-effective housing projects. Whenever time is the essence, usually cost per square feet with these roof and flooring panels may not differ that much from our conventional construction cost per unit area, but this is faster to occupy. That is an advantage. There need not be too much of cost difference when compared to cost advantage when compared to our conventional construction, but this can save a lot of time. Now, how are these panels assembled? Um, a floor, normal foundation, These foundation systems can be with these wall panels only. Double panel, usually for foundation systems, double wall panels are used, which will behave like a formwork and also an external sheath. And later on, it is poured with structural grade concrete. Over that, these wall panels can be spliced, can be fixed. We can see this is the site photo. One base concrete, structural grade concrete, where the reinforcement, our normal HYSD bars are embedded by using normal lock set or lock fix. It can be pre-placed before casting the raft as well. And later on, the walls are brought in, and all the wire mesh is tied to these dowels, and it is clipped to the floor so that it maintains the verticality. It is braced as well with a lot of whalers and rakers. It is braced horizontally and kept in place to avoid when there are double panel walls are used to avoid any sort of heaving while construction. It is properly taken care. This is an indicator, just a snapshot as to how these double bars come from base raft. This is the um, this is a normal base which is developed. It is not necessary that we need to have this base raft. We can also do with only framework up to ground level, like columns and with plinth beams. Over that, complete structure can come over these wall panels. Wall panels along with the diagonal wire mesh. Wall panels are brought in and spliced. You can see that vertical lines, separation lines. These lines. This is an individual panel. We saw that overlapping wire mesh that is overlapped on each and every mesh and finally spliced, tied together. So it behaves like one. You can see the side photographs. The dowels left from the base raft is tied to the wire mesh. After this, corner mesh is used to maintain. Corner mesh is used to between after it is fixed with after the wire mesh is tied to the dowels. The corner mesh is used fixed here along the vertical as well. Here also. This is how two panels are clipped together. One panel to other panel. Overlapping wire mesh is tied together to integrate. These are all the diagonal mesh 45 degrees, which is fixed over the opening. You can see that along with the corner mesh. This is also along with the U mesh, which is given at the jambs and reveals. Tools used. The clips. Pliers, so on. This is all the wall panels after connecting, which you are seeing in the bottom right portion. This is wall panels after when all these tying, meshing business is covered, completed. After connecting, this is how it looks. Before connecting is placed, just to prevent any disarrangements, it is secured The wall panels are secured like this. Corner meshes you can see. You can see these corner meshes, inside and outside both. It will prevent any cracks after it is being fixed in place. This is how it is supported by it is shored like this with runners. You can see the same thing here, how it is done. Before gunneting, all this is done. Once this is secured, gunneting is started. Gunneting will happen in two phases. One is the structural grade plaster, and over which only 15 mm finishing plaster will come. Both of them can be gunneted. This is the gunneting photographs. You can see how it is done. Wall panels after completed, then we can think of having the floor panels. Once these, bottom runners are kept, there is no shuttering required, specialized shuttering required. Only, the additional ribs, whatever is runners, whatever is shown here is to facilitate placement of this. That's all. Once it is there, these runners are there. These wall panels are kept in place. Joints are secured. Any topping concrete placed. Later on, once this sets, this can be removed, taken off. This is how it looks. You can see the wall panels placed. This right side photograph, you can see the runners are placed with verticals, with supports, with props, both horizontal, both top concreting can be done and bottom gunneting can be done. How are the mesh positioned? You can see all the corners, diagonals are secured. Roof assembly. After the topping is done, what you are seeing on the top left image is the panel with ribs. After concreting, this is how it looks like. Sloped roofs are also possible. Dome is being tried now. Domes are also possible using this EPS. Domes, wards. At window frames, after finishing, this is how it looks. After that, once the gunneting is over, plaster finish, how it is made. Tiling is done on top of it. Everything, it accommodates everything. You can see the final product. List of standards. It is Indian Code of Practices, IS 456 875, 1893. Yes, 4671. It is meant for expanded polystyrene and thermal insulation purposes. This will give a lot of specifications. Earthquake resistant design of concrete buildings, 4326. Stipulations on fire resistance, BS Code of Practice. All this can be used. Right now, most all of these codes, this product is compliant and it is now put into practice, and it is answering. No, these buildings constructed, made with these panels, they are leak proof, means they are damp proof. So, or normal plastered brick wall or block work, RC wall, porous RC wall, all these related problems associated with those our conventional materials are one by one answered by these panels, and um, it is showing good signs. This is about a pre-engineered building. I would like to present as an extension to what you have all seen, you have all heard about sustainable buildings, how it is practiced right now. I wanted to present one, if time permits. Can I present that?
Sir, if it can
Sure,
be
yeah. Sir, you can
winded up
continue.
in about 5-10 minutes, I think I can go ahead.
Sorry, can you please be louder?
Sir, if it gets winded up in about 5-10 minutes, then probably we can go ahead with that, sir.
Yeah, I will see if I can. I
Okay.
just wanted to highlight few things.
Yes, sir. No, not a problem,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It is Yes, sir. It is
Yeah.
visible. Visible. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of things to say. So, no, sustainable buildings. Usually, it is seen uh, when we talk about construction cost per square feet. What is the best configuration that would prove that will give you minimum cost expenditure per unit area of construction? Uh, it is over a period of time, experience says if you build a G plus 2 structure, ground plus 2 structure, it is an optimum configuration to cut even between the optimum. Uh, it is that configuration which gives us a good tie between cost per unit area and optimize the cost expenditure to whatever the occupancy you are building. So usually in sustainable buildings, this configuration is pretty much followed. Same things are followed. Uh, Now, abundant lighting is what is necessary when we talk about sustainable buildings. Uh, Using naturally, locally available materials for foundation systems, like using arch system in foundation, arch foundation. It can see, this is also possible. These are all applications which is followed, which is done. These are all side snaps which is taken, which is followed. These are all possible in our sustainable construction systems methods. Like there are a lot of answers for our conventional foundation questions. Our normal footings, RC footings and columns, which otherwise using this kind of systems will certainly bring down the cost of construction. Like using these are all for a single story buildings uh, using Kadapa stones without plinth beams, using only U blocks, it is possible. Anti-termite treatment, we can use herbal pesticides instead of going for very ground abusive pesticides, chemical pesticides. We can use neem leaves spread for the anti-termite treatment, which is done for the floor, for even at the stage of foundation construction or during flooring or prior to flooring, whatever anti-termite treatment you do, even this is an alternative good approach. Stabilized mud blocks. I think you have heard enough about this yesterday. Interlocking bricks. This need not have any mortar joints. Worst in worst is pointed. That's all. Only pointing is sufficient. Hollow clay blocks. All these are the possible materials available. Rammed earth walls. Yesterday you might have heard a lot about it. Lintels, precast lintels. That is also possible. Doors, pivoted doors without frames. That will bring down cost. Pivoted doors means no frame. It is pivoted on the jamb. That's all. It is pivoted. It is pivoted, as you see here. You can see it is pivoted here and here. Using the NCL windows, clay jolly works. Precast members. We can use normal stone blocks for staircases. We can use L-shaped cantilever, precast RCC L-shaped cantilever steps. It's just brought in and fixed at site. Precast staircases, RCC precast spiral staircase. Filler slabs. This will bring down lot of dead weight. This is designed as a grid slab. Sloped roofs, brick vaults and domes possible. Live photographs. Micro concrete roofing. Roof sheets, they are available. We can use them for bringing down cost. Everest roofing sheets, clay tile roofing is quite conventional. Andaline sheets, they can be they are made out of paper pulp and fibers, so they are UV resistant, fungus resistant. They can offer a lot of sound and heat insulation. Available in colors, uh, so we can really use it. It is used rather. I have used it in some of my projects. Arch panel roofs means the soffit is made into an arch and while you are topping it with concrete, it can be made into a surface, occupiable surface. That is also possible. T-beams, inverted T-beams, it is called as precast. It can be RCC precast T-beams, or it can be even clay T-beams, possible. In the troughs, you need to introduce certain, some rebars pre-designed. Flooring, we can go with green oxide or red oxide flooring, Attangudi flooring. These are all good alternatives for granite and marble flooring. Clay jolly blocks, it can create a lot of patterns and give a very rustic feeling. Masonry tanks, that is another alternative. These are all some buildings which are already there, standing tall with glory. Sustainable buildings are always, handy. It is affordable if locally available materials are used. Um, with lot of thoughts, with lot of interest shown, we can design buildings which can be, even rainwater harvesting systems can be planned very beautifully to make the building sustainable. There are a lot of opportunities today. Only thing is, it has to be taken. People have to snap out of our uh, conventional exposure, conventional building systems, and this is safe and a very livable housing system. It is possible to have a glorious house with most optimized expenditures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Dear participants, if you have any questions, we can take a few questions. Of course, we are short of time though, because we still have to conduct the valedictory. Uh, Participants, if you have any questions, you can post it on the chat box and I'll read it out to sir. I request Dr. Subbalakshmi ma'am to also conclude on the session.
Thank you, sir. I thank our speaker, Aprameya sir, for accepting our invitation and giving us so much of information, knowledge, experience, and his exposure in the field. Thank you so much, sir, for preparing us for 2 days on prefabrication as well as precast. We have come to know how in the field, how they are going to work and what is happening in the recent days, giving us an idea about it. Thank you so much for that. Now we'll break for the lunch.
Thank you all of you for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll take a break for half an hour and we'll join back for the valedictory at 2:15. So we'll be having the valedictory for half an hour and then we'll be posting the test. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.